In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the front brakes on your Toyota Camry. Let's get started. Using a 21mm socket, remove the lug nuts. And remove the wheel. Using a 14mm socket, remove the caliper bolts. Using a bungee cord or a hook, we're going to hang the caliper off of the strut spring. Pull the caliper off. Hang it up so there's no tension on the hose. I'm going to remove the springs from the pads and remove the pads. Using a 17mm socket, remove the caliper bracket bolts. Remove the caliper bracket. I'm going to thread one lug nut onto a stud, just a few threads. Using a hammer, I'm going to hit the rotor and pop it off. Remove the lug nut and remove the rotor. Using a wire brush or a whizzer wheel, we're going to go and clean the hub surface and get rid of any of the rust or corrosion. I'm going to use a bit of copper anti-seize around the hub to prevent the rust from coming back. This will make the wheel and rotor come off nicer next time. Install the rotor backwards. We're going to use brake parts cleaner and a clean rag. Clean the face of the rotor. We'll flip it over and do the same thing. I'm going to use one lug nut to thread it on to hold the rotor in place while I'm working behind it. Remove the caliper slide pin, clean off the grease, and apply new grease to the pin. Reinstall it. Do the same thing on the other one. Remove the shims. I'm going to clean inside of these valley areas. Using a wire brush, go ahead and clean up inside of these tabs. And do the same thing on the other side. Take a bit of grease and skim coat these areas. Put a skim coat of grease on where the shims are going to sit. Install the shims. and it's ready to go onto the car. Install the squealer tabs onto the bottom of the brake pads. They'll click in. These tabs should be facing each other where it'll clamp the rotor. Remove the bleeder cap. And using an 8mm wrench, we're going to crack the bleeder screw open. And when we do this, we're then going to push our piston back using either a piston compressor tool or a large pair of pliers. Break the bleeder screw open and use your pliers and push the piston all the way back. Be sure you have a bucket under you. Fluid will come out. Once you're fully compressed, close the bleeder screw back up, wipe away any fluid, reinstall the bleeder cap. We're going to put a skim coat of grease on the face of the piston. Install the caliper bracket. Snug down the bolts. Install the pads. Remove the caliper off of the hook. And I'm going to get the top bolt started. Flip the caliper up. Install the springs into the back of the pad. Keep one hand clamping the pads as you do this. They are going to try and push apart. Once you have the springs installed, flip the caliper down and install the bottom bolt. Snug down the caliper bolts. Torque the caliper bolts to 25 foot-pounds. Torque the caliper bracket bolts to 79 foot-pounds. Remove the lug nut. Install the wheel and get the lug nut started. Snug down the lug nuts. And we'll torque the wheel on the ground. Torque the lug nuts in a star pattern to 76 foot-pounds. And you're good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.